They want you to think the world's gone crazy. They want you to think we're going to HE double hockey sticks in a handbasket, but we're not because you guys watch Bullet Points with me and that guy.
Judd Dunning.
Boom! Informed, entertaining. You know what, Judd? Do you have a graphics package lying around?
You want to do some graphic package before the bullet points, or should we do the bullet points first and then a graphics package?
See, this is why you're the director. Here's a little tease of what's going on. We've got a bunch of big stories. We're going to cover them all. And what's bullet point number one?
Bullet point number one, thank you, producers. What else happened during the riots that you weren't supposed to pay attention to?
I like that. Bullet point number two.
The George Floyd riots go on. Who are the real racists?
Ooh, I want to know. Bullet point number three.
A COVID virtual reality check.
I'm into that. Bullet point number four.
CHAZ is full of spaz. Mongols and angels are on the roll.
Now, is there one more bullet point, or are we on to our wild card?
We are on to our wild card.
Woo! I'm ready for a wild card. Now, you tell me, do you have a graphics thing you want to throw up now?
Yes, I do. Run it.
Fantastic. I'm glad that wasn't embarrassing. Welcome back to the most important show your grandmother doesn't know you watch. I don't know what that means. We're digging into 4 big stories, a wild card. We got no time to waste because there's a timer, right?
There is.
With a handgun. So let's jump right in to bullet point number 1, Judd Dunning. What do we got?
All right. What else happened to the riots we're supposed to know? The world has gone crazy. So we're opening up with defund the thought police because now we're mixing our brands. We're mixing liquors. We're drinking white wine and scotch, buddy, because we got racism is the pandemic. It's going to be a rough morning. This is on Sunset today. But meanwhile, what else is happening? Here's what else is happening. Hillary Clinton went to court and lost her case regarding the missing emails that are going to be forced to testify in September. Oh, wait a minute. Fact checkers came in and they said that wasn't true. That's true because she was fighting to not have to testify in order to go, but it is actually still moving forward. Also, Rod Rosenstein was in front of the Senate regarding Russia, and especially the Ted Cruz queries was happening right now as well, as that continues to be held in justice. And as well, the Senate voted to subpoena over 30 Obama officials in Obamagate. So moving into the Hillary Clinton case, Michael, let's hear your thoughts.
Well, I'm so glad we started with this because I really want to hear how Hillary explains how she got away with breaking the law, and now it's not home field advantage. Now it's like a real court. Now it's going to matter. But even bigger than that is the Rod Rosenstein and the subpoenas going out. Finally, we're getting to the swamp. Don't forget, Rosenstein's the guy who wore the wire. He was the guy who was like, "Oh, you want me to wear a wire?" It's just now starting. It's now starting. Ooh, that's some good stuff they got cooking. I cannot wait. This is all I'm interested in.
No, I love it, right? Because we have to watch. We get so hijacked by the media. We get so hijacked by hyper guilt and white distraction right now. We'll get into that later where the real roots of that go to. But Rod Rosenstein, thank you. Rod Rosenstein came out and he's like, well, I'm not sure if I read every page of the Pfizer report right now. That's actually the same. They're the same elements of perjury that are coming out in the Flynn case that he's actually participating in with itself. And then behind that, what if it leads to Obama? Now, even Alan Dershowitz, who's kind of a middleman, and it's hard to define Dershowitz. Some things I like about him, some things I don't. But he's saying it's going to be really hard to get Obama in the line of fire. It's going to be really hard to get to the Clintons. I think we're going to get to the truth if Trump gets in November, and I think that's what this was all about as well.
It's the most important thing. We have to protect our republic. We can't have unelected officials deciding who's president.
Bonus point, what happened to Biden and Tara Reade suddenly when women are all up in arms? That's gone too. So keep your mind open. Watch out for the thought police. Let's go into bullet point number 2.
Woo!
Thank you very much. That's an uncomfortable gap. I feel like we just started dating or something. It's like that awkward moment. Well, where are you from? What do your parents do? Okay, so the George Floyd riots, which are now the Richard riots as well, are 15 other riots.
Hit that slide.
Thank you, Michael. Who are the real racists out there?
Who are the real? Well, these are very, very. There's disturbing clouds on the horizon, because right now, the whole systemic racism thing, like, I don't buy into that. And it's the whole idea of the argument is a trap. If you agree that systemic racism is real, then you're a racist because of systemic racism. And if you deny it's real, well, isn't that what a racist would say? So it's a catch-22. I got to take it. I got to go old school and judge people by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin. I'm sorry this man is dead. It was horrible. Those cops have to get in trouble, and we have to make some changes with our police force.
You know, they already do get in trouble, though. That's the point. There were 10 people, unarmed blacks, that were shot last year. There's actually, the proportion is black and white. 5 of them were attacking the officers, like, sadly, that Richard did. Of course, we care about the execution of anyone. Look, we're souls in a body experiencing human consciousness, as we were talking about earlier. We're not a color, we're not a creed, we're not a nationality first, and then we're Americans, and then we're citizens. And America is based, as Abraham Lincoln said, it's my favorite quote. He said, every man I meet is my superior in some way. So if everyone is my superior in some way, then we can't have this existence. You know what the new problem is besides class or race? It's pretension. I mean, the virtue signaling that is going on. You know, I'll get to who I think the real racists are. The real racists are even BLM and even Antifa. They're mostly dominated by white, radical, leftist liberals that are more interested in using the black challenge, the true challenge that's happening out there, for their own political agenda, for their own, that's using them again. And there's a lot of very, very awake black people out there saying, I want to shout out to this guy today. This is in the London riots today. He's a black gentleman who grabbed a white protester, was being beaten by a number of people, and he escorted him out of there, showing like such dignity and grace. You know what that is? That's a great human being. Yeah. It's not a black person, not a white. That's just a great human being. It's like, okay, we're out here, we're supposed to be peaceable, and it's devolving.
Yeah, listen, I'm never going to lose faith in humanity, ever. I've had too much life experience. I've been helped by too many other people. I have my circle of friends is just too big to draw these insane lines and make these huge, gross, sweeping, statements. It's gross. It's disgusting.
Yeah, don't use the word all. Yeah, it will set us back. I think so too. I'd get to the ending of this. But I do think, like the hashtag Me Too, we're going to have reform. We're already in the middle of reform. But, if you look at Black Lives Matter and Antifa, we know they're radicalized. We could talk a whole episode about who's getting involved with that. But what are our rights? And here's our rights. The First Amendment says that that Congress can't put anything into action, the president, that inhibits free speech, that peaceable assembly. And then the 14th Amendment said, okay, same the states cannot get in the way of peaceable assembly. But it's interesting because peaceful public assembly is not absolute. It's actually in the container of law and order, just like immigration. Looting is illegal. Burning things is illegal. Killing people is illegal. And, it's right there in our Constitution. But some people I can see the producer getting close to the timer, man. So let me keep moving. So these guys are getting justice. And we all know we've got 1 murder charge. We've got 3 abetting murder charges from the police, just as they're supposed to be. That was already happening anyway. But here's the tragedy, Michael. These are the 15 other people that have already died. And this isn't headline news. Why not?
Because it doesn't fit the narrative. The narrative is this. Here's what we're supposed to believe. Every morning, cops get up and try to figure out how they can kill a black person. That's the narrative. The narrative is, if you are a person of color, at any moment, a cop can burst down your door and kill you. That every day, tens, hundreds of black people are executed by cops, and it is not the truth. And that statistic that 15 people have lost their lives in the riots and the protests and on all that stuff. That's horrifying. That's what are you doing? There's going to be a lot of people who are going to feel bad for the rest of their lives over adding fuel to this fire.
If you get a chance to say who are the 15 people that died in the protests, and you read the narratives, they're tragic. It's hijacking, and there's some real executions that have happened with personal agenda in the middle of civil unrest. That's why we can't allow civil unrest, because it unwinds. We're going through my third slide here. But listen, even though this was a bad person, what happened was aberrant. It was one of the most horrible things we've seen since Rodney King on air. It was as horrible as those two gentlemen hunting down that young black gentleman in about a month ago. That was a horrible situation. Does racism exist? It does. But here's what you said, and then we'll try to start moving toward the end on this. This was from 2017, the Obama years. The anti-cop narrative deflects attention away from solving the real criminal justice problem, which is high rates of black on black victimization. Blacks die of homicide at 8 times the rate of non-Hispanic whites, overwhelmingly killed, not by cops, not by whites, but by other blacks. And this is the issue that I want to see black Americans get into. Failed social liberal policies, 1940, over-entitlement, the fatherless rate, the deconstruction of religion, which I think we'll shift to this because I know you wanted to talk about it. With Chappelle, he got into some of this.
Chappelle, I got a couple things that I need to state for the record. When I watched this Chappelle show, he goes, "Hey, I'm doing this. This is history. This is history. I'm the first comic to do a show." And I'm like, dude, I was just down at the Improv in Texas. I beat you by a couple of weeks. Dave is a brilliant performer, a brilliant comedian. This was not a comedy special. This was not. This was heartfelt. It was angst. It was powerful. It wasn't funny, but he took a couple shots at Candace Owens because of her famous, video, and then he capped it off by saying that he bets her private parts are stanky. He goes, "I don't care if she got kicked right in her stanky hoo-ha," and he goes, "and I bet it stinks." So it was like, really, he couldn't go after her intellect. He couldn't go after her line of thought or her logic. So he went straight to her hoo-ha. And for the record, I got a lot of money that says it does not stink. I bet that's sweet like roses.
You're right. We're responding. And you know what she said, and this tweet up here, if you get a chance, look up Candace's tweet. She said, "Comedians are awesome, essentially. I'm not going to join the culture to go after comics. They should be able to have free speech, and we should be able to laugh at ourselves." Joining Thomas Sewell, Charles Barkley, Shelby Steele, the Hodges twins, David Webb. I could go on for 6 slides of really powerful Black Americans. And then we'll end this piece. I know we're going a little bit over, but here's a virtue signaling warning. Of course, Nancy Pelosi for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, while one of her aides was on her cell phone. We have the FBI giving a knee, and then we also have the cops washing black protesters and white, not protesters, but participants' feet in horrible white guilt. Then Mitt Romney and Eric Garcetti top it off. So a hell of a week for shame.
Yeah, and isn't it weird? Like, I can't get over that picture of Nancy Pelosi kneeling. Like, if you want to, like, the guy, George Floyd, the reason he's dead is because a cop knelt on his neck for almost 9 minutes. And then here's Nancy Pelosi. That seems like in horrible taste.
Yeah.
And then the scarf is from the Ashanti tribe or something. And it's and that tribe has a horrible history of selling slaves. And it's like, it's all meaningless. It's all meaningless and laughably bad. And if slavery's on your mind, hey, guess what? Now that Hillary Clinton destroyed Libya, those slave markets are open again. You can go pick yourself. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
slavery. It's alive and well. Thanks, Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Yeah. So just we'll end this. Like Michael and I just want to put it out there. We obviously deeply care about anybody who's hurt or has suffered. And I continue to see the Americans, not the subsets of Americans. And we know that we're going to come out this on the other side. And we'll continue to cover this story because I don't think it's going to end.
Dude, I want to say this too. I got pulled over in South Africa one night by a cop, and he's like, "So what are we gonna do?" And he was looking for a bribe, and thank goodness the driver who was from, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. And we have to do everything that we can to make sure the bad cops go bye-bye and the good cops stay on the job. We need police. But yeah, if a cop is up to no good, that's a scary moment.
Yeah, and for the small percentage that is statistically hijacked that actually they are in the limelight, and I'm sure we'll see effective social change. Moving on to bullet point number 3, it's a COVID virtual reality check. So it's the flu virus in the right, coming in every year for about 40 to 80,000 people. The coronavirus hitting 115 Americans have perished. 2 million are infected. It's 8 million globally. The government is hijacking everything that we do. Wear your mask. And we move on here to the real statistics. So we always check the statistics first before we talk about this, because this is serious business. Obviously, we've lost 115,000 Americans. The context that we keep trying to talk about in the show is that, relevant to where we've shut down with the prior flus, in 68 with the Hong Kong flu, the Spanish flu, which is a different time, but Hong Kong's pretty relative. Americans have had to march onward for their own freedom. Here we go, Michael. If you see here's the new hotspot breakout. The blue is less. The light brown in the background is the same. We have a few increasing cases in a few areas because obviously rioting is not a sanitary endeavor.
No.
And also, if we rioted for opening our businesses, we were shamed.
Yeah.
But if you rioted for race, risking other people's lives, you were a hero. So the hypocrisy of this, and let me tell you the expense of this that I think is serious, is if every week we shut down American businesses, morbidity rates go up through poverty and devastation. So there was actually a really heavy selfishness to this type of protesting, this violent intermission protesting. So that's something that people really aren't talking about in the news. And now that we have spikes, if I question certain elements here are the states. I'll set you up. So here's Michael's favorite chart he brought in. There's what happened to the flu virus when COVID came out. And, here we are at a new phase with the country and COVID. So, Michael, what are your thoughts? What should the world and America do next with 351 deaths per million in America and 5% of the population infected?
Here's what we need to do. We need to read a book. This is not the first time we've been through this before. The lack of curiosity and, oh my goodness, who had a lot of success in the 1918 pandemic? Oh, the people who were outside, the people getting fresh air. We did the exact opposite. You don't quarantine people who aren't sick. We should.
Wow, that was a big Asian gong. Keep going.
We should never do that again. And listen, science has to be above politics. Science has to be above politics. Trump said, oh, this hydroxychloroquine looks like it's good. And then they immediately went after that. Then a horrible study came out, and it was quoted by Lancet. And then, thank God, other people of letters looked at it like that study's horrible. It means nothing. So there could have been, how many lives could have been saved if they hadn't made a political football out of hydroxychloroquine? It's absolute madness. The masks are for medical personnel and people who have symptoms and are coughing. They're selling fear, they're selling panic, they're doing everything they can to cripple this economy. And thank God this is America, the best country on the face of the planet, because we're going to rebound fast, and we've already seen it in job numbers. So stop listening to the morons.
Finish.
No, that was it. Stop listening to the morons.
Yeah, I was about to look. We've had D-Day. We need C-Day. People, we've had courage to go out and charge the beaches. We need to get back to work. We're going to lose some people. Our economy is our ability to take care of our family. Let me tell you what I put ahead of America. Right after God, I put my family. For me, it is God first, because everything flows in goodness for this personal individual. If I don't put that first, that's the whole premise of what you and I believe in. Secondly, my family, and then my country. And my family and people's families need to be protected, even if the breadwinners are at risk. People are so brainwashed still. Wake up. I hope we get the right people in the limelight starting to solve this problem. We need politicians with courage rather than just thinking about their political careers.
Yeah, and I think Trump's the guy for that. I really do. I'm glad. Listen, supposedly he was going to kill 3 million people. We're nowhere near that, so that's a victory. Woo! What bullet point are we on? 4?
Number 4. Woo! CHAZ is full of spaz. There's nothing that rhymes with spaz, so I had to use it. It's not the best time. Mongols and angels on the roll. Boy, this has been hot in the news. Let us know your thoughts, Michael.
I'm ready to put this. This is a side dish for me. Here's what I want. When the waiter comes around, I want a big a double all-you-can-eat buffet of FISA abuse, Rod Rosenstein, and subpoenas to people in the FBI. I'll have a side order of CHAZ. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's a glorified. It's another version of Occupy Wall Street. They're just wasting everybody's time. And then the wonderful thing that's happening out of this is they're like mini Trumps. The first thing they did was build a wall and get security and make sure they know who's coming in and who's coming out. The whole thing, they're all going to come out of there wearing Make America Great Again hats on, because they're going to realize the police are important. People need to be able to protect their property. You got to protect the borders. It's a MAGA rally. They just don't know it.
We may be building our next wave of future politicians. I love their tweets. Their tweets are, please send guns, cigarettes, and Gatorade. You're like, cigarettes and Gatorade are what the average meth person asks for. I mean, this is like this massive block party of homelessness and freedom. I mean, it's really, really divided. What's upsetting is that this could exist without a quicker reaction time. I mean, Seattle is a great city. There is a city, where is it, in Denmark, right? In Denmark, that's Christendom or something. We went, it was a sub-city of Denmark, and it's been an autonomous zone. And it is the most hideous, rundown, urine-soaked place I've ever been. So I wish them luck with this experiment. I agree, it's a side dish.
Yeah, but listen, I don't want the cops to go in. I don't want anybody to go in. I just want to watch them come out one by one with their heads down, because they just had the worst time.
quick hero alerts, because this brought up the conversation of defund the police. So a shout out to James Clyburn, who the House Democratic whip said, hey, we're not going to defund the police. It's going to destroy the safety of minorities. Here's a Democrat today who came out and broke the narrative. There's another one, Charles Barkley, came out and said, are you kidding me? Most cops do fantastic jobs, which is the reality of the situation. What's going to be interesting is where are we going to stand in the law? And I think it'll be more peaceful than we think if the Mongols and Hell's Angels, which are stated 10,000 are on the way to clear this up. So I guess America's getting back to its pioneering roots on wheels. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, all right, that's the end of that bullet point. Thank you, producer. We are a quick promo evening. Tomorrow, tell us what's happening at Fox, Michael Loftus.
Well, we'll see if I get bumped for breaking news. But now on Mondays, I'm supposed to be making regular appearances on the Dana Perino show, which I believe is called The Daily Brief. The Daily Brief. She's very courageously asked me to join her on Mondays.
Oh, great, great. We saw you on Gut Feel. That was great. Are you still doing the morning shows as well? Are you going in for Fox and
It's
Friends?
there's so much breaking news. They don't have time for a joker from the entertainment business like me. Besides, I don't have a book. Maybe if I had a book to sell, maybe if I knew someone who had a book coming out.
Thank you very much. So really great. I just want to say we met with the people at Newsmax, doing a great job with the book. We're coming out right after David Horowitz's book that just hit the stands right now. They have 10 million people in their book hub. They have 33 million that go to the site. Um, our agent actually is also releasing a Dershowitz book, and I'm all about free speech. I love the left. I love the classical liberals. A majority of my friends are still liberals from my years in Hollywood and in the universities. I'm about 50-50, and I love liberals. So we're in the middle of with a publisher that's doing both. But at Newsmax, we're going to be a crash title. So look for us on Amazon in 3 to 4 weeks for pre-orders. And stay tuned, Michael, as we move into our wild card.
Yeah, let's do it. And let's get wild. What is our insane wild card now?
Cancel culture and with cops, Law and Order, Carlson, and more. And it gets even weirder into the animation world. Michael, tell us your thoughts.
Here's a disturbing trend that I've seen. That you've got, they canceled cops, canceled, gone. 30-year hit. 30-year, that's a long run, but they canceled it because they want, I don't know, to not trigger people. Live PD, they got rid of. They're talking about getting rid of an animated show called Paw Patrol, which
Really?
is, yes, which are like puppies and kittens that are like firemen and police. Here's the problem. The reason One of the great things about the shows like Cops and Live PD, they show police officers in reality doing tough jobs. They're human beings. This is not an easy thing. And I think to take that away, it's a step towards just villainizing them. It's much easier to villainize someone that you don't know. And the Tucker Carlson thing, I saw you brought up that slide. Uh, that's terrifying. We have to stand with Tucker Carlson. If you watch the show and you read it's here's the great thing. It's like Dave Chappelle couldn't go at Candace Owens one-on-one, so he went boom, he went low, he hit below the belt. People, they can't argue. They can't win an argument with Tucker Carlson, so they have to hit him below the belt and try to take away the advertisers.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting because if you actually now step outside of who's pulling back from Tucker, look at the corporations. I was doing research today for the show. There was $100 million from different groups funded to BLM in 2016-17. That is a lot of capital for a grassroots organization. And
Yeah.
now they're being funded by Amazon, they're being funded by Dropbox, they're being funded by just myriads of business. On Netflix, there's the Black Lives Matter elements. We stand with BLM. BLM is I'm sorry, they are a radicalized group of mostly white, liberal, elitist, radical leftists that are more concerned with the fifth coup of President Donald J. Trump. The country has been very, very unhappy with the change of power from a very, well-spoken Black American breaking through, going back to a white, rich, very brazen businessman. It's been so uncomfortable. I have a little bit of empathy, but the fact that these mega corporations are protecting their stock prices by pulling back from somebody, Tucker has been. I don't think Tucker's been offensive at all. I think he's been attacking Republicans every night, right?
If he had been offensive, if he had broken any kind of, FCC rule, they'd kick him off the air. But they can't. They cannot fight him. They cannot win that debate. So they have to silence the voice. It's a terrifying notion, and we can't let that win. This is how it's kind of sounds kind of trite, but this is how you reach the best solution. You give me your best argument, I'll give you my best argument. We'll meet in the middle. No one's really happy, but you find the common ground.
Were you referring to civil discourse and democracy, Michael Loftus?
Yeah,
That's
I'm old school
amazing.
like
I
that.
haven't heard those two terms in a rational sentence in days, except from Tucker Carlson. So Law and Order. Well, hey, there's no surprise that Law and Order is being taken off the air. I
Yeah.
mean, come on. I mean, there's a symbol. Hey, we better take down Law and Order. Now that we no longer adhere to Law and Order, let's get rid of Law and Order and cops. I mean, come
Yes.
on, it's just straight there in the narrative. And I know this has had you sleepless. So I wanted to put this up there for you because I know what an important part of your life Elmer Fudd has been.
Yeah, for some reason they're getting rid of the gun with Elmer Fudd, and my take on it, it's so ridiculous and it's so elitist to do that. Yeah, he can still blow things up with dynamite, he can still have a cannon, but running around with a shotgun, it's so ridiculous that I wish Chuck Jones was still alive. I wish Friz Freeling was still alive. This is what they would make fun of. They would make a cartoon about the morons in charge of the cartoons. It's laughably bad. And I tell you what, Elmer Fudd is a liberal, leftist, socialist jerk, and Donald Trump is Bugs Bunny.
Oh my God. I did not see that coming. But I will say the death sickle of Assad is very, very cabal. I don't know. We're going to see what's going on in Disney. That's a David Icke special. There's a lot of weird stuff in Hollywood. So who knows what the sickle of death, why it's replacing the healthy American gun. And our end story this evening, I think, which is now we're focusing on the real rights of animation. I think it's very important to talk about, the coming out of SpongeBob, which I know has also been troubling for you.
Well, yeah, Nickelodeon wanted to, I think, get some free press off of Pride Month, so they proudly announced that, oh yeah, SpongeBob is gay, and then the show's creator was like, no, he's asexual. He's nothing, he's a sponge.
Got holes everywhere.
Yeah, but it's just, to me, it's gross and it's demeaning and stupid.
Yeah.
And not that being gay is gross. It's that Nickelodeon would do that, would take an animated character and go, oh yeah, he's gay. It's not real. It's a cartoon. It's like they always said, like, ooh, Ernie and Bert are gay. No, those are puppets. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. However, there are episodes where SpongeBob and Patrick had a baby, and that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Well, it's like a sea fish, right? It's like, maybe who knows the mysteries of the sea. But, they said.
I think someone left it at the doorstep, and they decided to raise it, and then Patrick kept saying he had to go to work, so like Patrick was the dude, and SpongeBob was the henpecked wife. Hilarious. The show's great.
They were saying that one of the main reason is that he talks like Paul Lynde is the people don't even know, the new generation doesn't even know who Paul Lynde is, right? The gayest of the Hollywood squares, which now everyone understands because of Zoom, right? So that's how you can tell who's gay in the office, by the way. Whoever's acting like Paul Lynde and SpongeBob. All right, so we're popping out of the Matrix. We started with, defund the thought police. We're ending with our great Matrix graphic. Michael and I have a good time, people, but there's some serious stuff going on. Stay awake. Stay out of fear. Stay clear on the content of people's character, what's good about America. Take us home, Mr. Loftus.
Be the best person you can be and try to encourage other people to do the same. Be an example. Lead by example. Woohoo! Stay tuned. More bullet points sooner than you think.